All right, so we're checking it out. 240% ineffable corruption. That is 8 pieces with rank 1 ineffable on it, which apparently is better value than rank 2. Obviously, we're using the vendor, and rank 1 is up currently. It's ending by the time you watch this video. It'll probably be gone in US realms. I guess EU has one more day, but I think it's like rank 2 is like 50% cooldown reduction, but for like way more, I think it might be like 30 corruption, whereas rank 1 is like 30 cooldown reduction percent, whatever, and it's only like 12 corruption. So anyway, we're checking it out. I'm not going to say it's strong or not. It's up to you. You guys can check it out too. We're going to be doing an entire stream on it tomorrow, but I do want to take a look at this footage. All right, this is just a 17 for y'all, just testing this out. I tried to test it out in an atoll, but I didn't think it worked very well because it was very little trash. So let's talk about some things. So first of all, I'm using haste trinkets, which is not something I normally do. When I'm doing serious keys, I'd put a defensive set on. But this does help because apparently it's based on your haste as well. So the more haste you have, the more procs you'll get. I don't know how big of a difference that is. We'll maybe find that out tomorrow. Another thing that you're going to notice immediately is that every time it procs, it messes up weak auras. It doesn't mess up the actual spell. So like when you look at the, for example, Vamp Blood's on X, which is all the way on the right side of the screen, you can see the exact cooldown that is there on that, and you're going to see how fast it goes. But with weak auras, it goes like super, super fast. So I guess it like bugs it out. I'm not really sure because it's, I don't know. You'll see it now. So like Vamp Blood looks like it's up, but it wasn't actually up there. So but yeah, we could take a look at it. I'm going to show the uptime in the end, and we'll see how many procs we get as well. But it's a pretty interesting concept. So let's talk a little bit about the conceptual analysis of it. One, Blood Decay obviously is suffering right now because of a lack of defensive options. I think most people would say it's because of a lack of reliable mitigation. Okay. So, starting to think about having Vamp Blood up for every single, like almost, a large majority of the times you're in combat is pretty good. Dancing Rune Weapon up potentially for every pack. That's not going to happen, but ideally, if you get lucky and it paces it out right, it might happen. Things like Blood Boils have, not having a CD effectively. You'll notice this Blood Boil effectively has no CD when this happens. Maybe the most interesting thing, Death and Decay can be dropped twice because it's like such a short CD that I can put a second one down. That might be the most interesting thing, and I don't know what the answer is going to be for that. If it actually does anything, like I literally don't know. Does it even work if you have 2 D&Ds down? The beginning of this dungeon, I don't do a good job with it at all. Like I'm not even looking for it. But by the end, I'm thinking like, okay, when it procs, I need to put D&D down. That's the first global I want to do. Put D&D down and make sure that I have a second D&D down before it's over because it lasts for 10 seconds, and of course D&D is only a 15-second CD. So basically, any CD that's that short, if you use it as it begins, it will be up again before it's over. Usually like much, depending on how many traits you have, obviously considerably faster than that. So you could get multiple interrupts out with this. It works for interrupts and dispels. You can get like 2 back-to-back death grips, 2 back-to-back taunts, 2 back-to-back interrupts. I mean, I'm not talking like literally back-to-back, but like, I interrupt, one more global, interrupts back up. You might see that throughout the dungeon. But overall, it just makes like you feel like you're on steroids when you're playing the class. So let's take a look. We did just have a pretty interesting moment here. Let's take a look. Okay, so it's about to proc. Let's see exactly when it procs. I want to okay, so it procs with 24 seconds left. Okay, and then it's going to take 10 seconds. So let's see. It should be up, right? Like that's no matter what. In these next 10 seconds, it should just be up, right? Like you can see how fast the thing is ticking. Yeah, so it's just up, right? Okay, so basically like under 30 seconds, if it procs, it's going to be up. The couple times later in the dungeon, you're going to see I literally use it like basically 3 times back to back to back. Like there's only a couple seconds in between Vamp Bloods. Now this is also with Red Thirst. I tried it with Bone Storm. It's just a terrible week for Bone Storm, to be honest, so I don't think I'm going to try it again. But as you see, look at Blood Boil. See Blood Boil? It's like almost like bugged. It's like I could just spam it. Like it doesn't even have like the CD's like the timer thing is like flying by, and I don't know. It looks really weird. But either way, you could spam Blood Boil. You could just press Blood Boil for probably just 10 times in that 10-second window if you wanted to. So, very high amount of damage, obviously. Certainly not, like, this is the other thing, right? Like, Twilight Devastation obviously is going to be better. Like, you know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, the other builds and the other concept we were pushing for was like, all right, let's get a bunch of damage out and make the mobs die faster. Maybe some leech. We get a little damage leech potion, all that. But it's like, this is just fun. It's not good. It's probably not great. It's probably never going to be better than, just a meme. But it's fun. It's so fun to see these. Like, look at Death Grip. Watch Death Grip. So, like, here I Death Gripped at the start. It's already back up. Look at that. Death Grip was up like less than 5 seconds after I used it. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is just cool. Like, there's not a lot of uses for it. There's not a lot of strengths to it. Realistically, I probably wouldn't recommend anybody do this. The other thing that you don't see, I have 9 corruption. So I have it on every single slot. I didn't delete any other corruption. I still have my old set, no problem. But I just got a bunch of gear that didn't have any corruption on it, put it on it, and went and ran these dungeons. Now, one of them is a Cut of Death, a weapon. That's the only weapon I actually had that didn't have corruption on it. So that does a fair amount of damage, and I still do absolutely terrible damage most packs. So that's a big problem. Your offense is going to be terrible, presumably. I mean, unless you literally just spam Blood Boil every time. I'm just not really sure. Like, there's so many new things that can happen with it now. I start to wonder what's important and what's not, right? Like, should I get 2 Death and Decays down? Is that a good thing? Does that do anything? Has there ever been a situation in the past where, like, is there a precedent for double Death and Decay? Because does it do anything? Does it even apply the slow a second time? I have no idea. Like, there's a very good possibility that the game just can't register 2 Death and Decays. Even though I'm able to put 2 down, like, there's a very good possibility that it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? So these questions are questions that need to be answered, and I can't answer them right now. Yeah, nobody knew how to do the dog, so we're gonna have to pull his trash. But, yeah, like, with this plus Red Thirst and, like, a good amount of haste, you're going to, if it procs at the right time, you're basically back to Legion with blood, with Vamp Blood. It's going to be up. It's going to be up again. It's going to be up again. You're going to have like a couple uses of it with very little downtime. Just like it was in Legion. If you played in Legion with Red Thirst was like, it's so much worse in Shadowlands than it was in it's so much worse in BFA than it was in Legion. In Legion, it would be like pretty much twice as strong. And you had Umbilicus Eternus, which was like, I can't remember, like 10 or so many seconds afterwards, you had this big absorb on you. So you basically go with plus the absorb, you'd go like the full duration of Vamp Blood, and you would have another one immediately afterwards. And that was because Rune Weapon would apply double credibility or whatever, like, like it made it work twice when the Rune Weapon's Heart Strike hit as well. So anyway, yeah, all of that's different now, but yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting concept. Like, what do you guys think? If you could have Vamp Blood up for every, like, for like 50% of the time you're in combat, does that sound stronger than just doing a lot more offense? I think most people probably say no, right? For me, obviously it's just like a fun thing. I don't really think it's strong, but you could see here, Vamp Blood's up already. You know what I mean? Like, let's take a look at that actually. Let's see exactly when it goes. So I use it on the pull here. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so I use it. Is there not like a timestamp? Yeah, we are at 10:44. Okay, so let's use it. And then obviously I'm reducing a lot of it with Red Thirst, of course. But Ineffable's about to proc. Okay, there's Ineffable. So now that's going to take like a good probably 30 seconds off it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, look how much time that just took off it. Okay, let's watch the entire Ineffable first of all. Ineffable procs now. Soon. Boom. Where is it? Come on. There it is. Well, it's been up. I just missed it. Oh, that's the wrong direction. But anyway, yeah, it takes like a ton of time off it. And that looked like it took even more time off it than it was supposed to. 45. We just went from 45 to 20. What the hell was that about? Did you see that? What's going to happen here? See, you can't tell. The weak word doesn't work. It says 10. It's not 10. So that's honestly a bit of a problem, to be honest. And also, Sarah brought up that it doesn't, like, her weak word that tracks my CDs doesn't actually track them dynamically. So like it's all wrong. Like it's not, after I use it wrong, like the CD wrong once, it's wrong for the rest of the dungeon. Okay, so there's 34 seconds. What happens here? I'm just gonna keep pausing it until I figure it out. Wait, did I miss something? I'm just so confused. I guess it's just going that fast. So I'm still trying to learn this on the fly. So it goes to 40 seconds. So like as soon as it procs, you lose a bunch of time on the CD, I guess, is how. I don't know why that's the case. It doesn't make, like, the whole thing just doesn't make sense to me. It makes me wonder if it's bugged or that it's going to be fixed. So that was because we spent runic power. Spending runic power. So it's at 40. When does it proc? Wait, this is the previous pack. Jesus. I went the wrong direction. Okay, so 54, 52, 48, 40. Yeah, so then you see that? It goes from 40 to 20. Why was that? What did we do that we did that? I wish I could go only a few seconds behind. Trying to figure this out, and I don't know what causes it. I mean, it has to be death strikes, I guess, right? Just multiple death strikes plus the ineffable. Well, I said procs again. Yeah, so did I even use a death strike there? Just like the tracking on this isn't great. But anyway, you can see how much it jumps if you just pay attention to the CD. I mean, for something just caused it to jump like 30 seconds there almost. So, but yeah, so it's back. So the original goal behind this was seeing exactly how much real time passed between Vamp Blood uses. But either way, we got it used in that pack. We used it twice. So okay, so 1044 is when we used it the first time, and it will probably be about 10 or 11, like 10 or something like that we used it the second time. Let's see. Something takes like a huge chunk of time off it, almost 30 seconds. And okay, 11:02. Wow, that was even slower, or that was even faster. So yeah, within 20 seconds, we used 2 Vamp Bloods. So I mean, hey, does that sound valuable? I don't. And then it's going to be up again now because it procced again. It's procking a lot, and I think it's just because the haste trinkets. But yeah, I've used it again. So that was 11:15ish. So within about 35 to 40 seconds, we used the spell 3 times. I mean, that's pretty good considering it's supposed to be a 1.5 minute CD. Now, of course, again, this is with Red Thirst. This is with Vision of Perfection Minor, and I also have Vision of Perfection Major on. That's not. Well, maybe that has something to do with it. Does that reduce the CD? I've not used Vision Major in so long that might be causing some confusion here. But either way, that is the setup we're running. I just wanted to test the overall uptime. But yeah, I mean, Vamp Blood's up again. The big thing is like Icebound and Rune Weapon having more uptime is like, I mean, that's a sizable deal. Because like right now when I do like hard keys, my biggest concern is that I just simply don't have coverage. It's not like Warrior where I have this like rotational coverage that's just going to be up evenly throughout time. It doesn't work like that for Blood DK, right? Like all of my defense is upended by big CDs and then just healing. And if the healing's not enough to survive, then I have to go to other options. So like what I've been doing is I've just been taking the essence, whatever the EP essence, the Eternal Palace essence. I can't remember. Something like, I don't know, Azeroth's Undying Gift, I think is the name of it. Yeah. I've been taking that. I've been taking the trinket from N'Zoth. So these things obviously help a lot, but yeah, as you see, like the timer is just flying by. And again, this is only with 8. This is with 9 corruption, guys. I have 9 corruption on. So I mean, like, that doesn't help anybody, obviously. But what I could do is take one of these pieces off and put like Twilight on, or something like that, which we could try that. I'm gonna try that tomorrow on stream. Because it's a little overkill, obviously. Like I'm doing like 20k DPS on most packs. Not ideal. Now this boss actually goes really well with it, so let's take a look at it. Sarah pointed out the fact that she said like she felt like I never had to be healed. Of course it's a 17, but it is tyrannical, you know, so it's still relatively difficult. The good thing about this fight is AMS of a couple abilities. You could get some value out of AMS, and also don't forget this means you're faster. Death Knights are now faster because potentially more uptime on the speed, whatever Death's Advance. So we're about to get a Vamp Blood off. Let's see if we get any procs. In terms of like actual procs, that's something to think about. We could look at that. I know Sharkbait is a really good fight. I remember it going extremely well, so we'll take a look at Sharkbait, and then that's probably just going to be it. But it's cool. It's a cool concept. I like the idea. I like the novelty of it. The corruption system to me was like the coolest concept that they ever came up with, but it just didn't really work because of how. See, look at that. Look at that Vamp Blood there. It just didn't really work because of how infrequent the drops were for it. Like it was a big problem, if you ask me. And now that's just kind of solved. So I have a different opinion on it now, I guess, right? But I mean, that's just high uptime during Vamp Blood. You might want to see how many times we actually use the spell. Because it's like, I'm not even using it 100% of the time, honestly. Let's just count how many times we use the spell. I should have like logged this. Oh, actually, I can't because logs are still down. Okay, so once, there's the first time. We're just going to sit here and look at Vamp Blood, okay? So it's 50 seconds, so proc, did we get a proc or no? No, I thought it procced. So we have 50-second CD right now. I think we're going to get no Ineffable until later. And plus, if you get the haste buff on this fight, it's going to go even better. But it's already up to, 30 seconds, so that's Red Thirst and stuff doing that. About to use our second Vamp Blood coming up here in 10 seconds. Cannot stun that barrel, by the way. It doesn't do anything. We all tried. Does not work. All right, second Vamp Blood coming up, so that's number 2. Use it. What are you doing? Okay, good. Little downtime there. Intentionally getting hit. I was like thinking about this. I'm like, oh, I can get hit by that fire. With AMS gets a free runic power. AMS will be back up too, right? Whenever it procs, AMS is going to fly by. Another use should be coming. I think here we get a Ineffable proc, so we get another Vamp Blood. So there we go. Now the timer is bugged, right? Like it says 16 seconds. That's what made me think that this was ridiculous. It's not. This might confuse some of you as well. It is not something wrong with weak ores. I don't know why. Okay. It does not like what you just saw there was like it was up back to back, basically. Like literally the CD was going to be up before the spell ended. And that confused me as well. And there's number 4. So 4 uses on this fight. Let's see how long the fight was. And then another rune weapon. I've only used it once so far. That makes sense. Second rune weapon. Are we not going to use it? I think I use it just to be like, oh, look, I used it twice on a 3-minute fight. But maybe I did use it a second time. Yeah, I definitely did. Wait, no, I didn't. Oh yeah, Ineffable's messing up the rune weapon timer too, so all kinds of confusion. But anyway, so you see, potentially 4 uses of a 1.5 minute CD, and again, that's mostly because of the essence, also because of Red Thirst. But all of these things go well together, and this is one of my favorite things about Blood DK. When Vamp Blood is up, you're like, things are going good. Let's put it that way. It'd be hard to die with Vamp Blood. I've had it happen, for sure. But also the interrupts, I think I might have mentioned that, but yeah. So now from now on, I start thinking like, oh yeah, I forgot about double Death Grip or double D&D. So now from now on, I start looking at that, trying to make sure every time it procs, I get a second D&D down. So you'll see, and of course, like the D&D proc, it can only reset once every 10 seconds apparently. Like there's some kind of like hard, like it can't do more than that. I don't necessarily know why, but you'll see here, second D&D coming down. See. So 2 D&Ds down. And I mean, I don't, like, it's hard to tell. Let's just go back. Like, I don't see anything change. Like, what should I look for? If 2 D&Ds, because like D&D does multiple things, right? Like it slows the mob. It also allows you to hit more targets with Heartstrike. So like, what should I look for? Like, am I hitting 10 targets with Heartstrike? Is that even a feasibility? Like, that would be very hard to find out. Have to find a place with 10 targets or something. But yeah, I mean, presumably it's doing damage twice at least. Certainly it should be. I don't know why it wouldn't be. But yeah, I don't know if it's reapplying the slow. Like, who knows? Who knows? It's actually like it's not possible. I would need logs to find that out, I think. And I'm not great with that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's really, so there it happened again. So you see another D&D. So it's pretty cool. I mean, like, as long as you use D&D at some point during the Ineffable Truth, you will have 2 down. Like, it's just cool. It's cool, right? I mean, is it good? I don't know. It's a neat concept. I just don't know what the value is. So I'll wait. We'll test it more. Hopefully, you guys will have some thoughts on this. Whether or not, there's value to this. Like, if somebody will be like, oh, guess what? Now you can do this thing. That's what I'm hoping for. Because I'm not necessarily thinking outside the box with it, but it is fun. So let's just see shark bait, and then we'll go to the end. And or whatever, Trothak. Shark bait's the name of the boss, the the mount. Okay, so on the pole, so this is like a really lucky pole. That's why I wanted to show it. Okay, so here we go. On the pole, it's up. See it? I need to maybe make that weak ore a little bit easier to see, but it's up. And now look, we're gonna see Vamp Blood, some insane uptime here. Just watch the cooldown on the right. Don't look at the weak ore, but we're gonna get it. I think another proc as soon as I use it, it's gonna be bad. And this is without lust too, so. So second use there, that's like 20 seconds in the fight, pretty much. If I was gonna use it, it would have been 20 seconds in the fight. But it procs again, right? So it's like, now that was actually a big waste. So that's the only thing about this is like, if you don't have any big things on CD when it procs, it's really bad. You know what I'm saying? So here again, we're gonna get a proc. So let's actually look at like the math here. Let's see exactly how long all of this takes. Okay, so first Vamp Blood, it's actually not even on CD right now. Okay, so first Vamp Blood is used at 20:08. Okay, so that is 20:08. Ineffable Truth's procking relatively fast. Again, but I wasted like 3 seconds of it, right? Because Vamp Blood was not on CD. Or it wasn't off CD from the last time, basically. Second use will come soon. But I'm delaying it, which is terrible. I'm wasting multiple seconds off it. Okay, so 20:32. So yeah, 25 seconds. 25 seconds later, I used a second Vamp Blood, and that was, it basically could have been 20 seconds later. Okay, now when's the next one? 2032, right? 2032, the next use is probably going to be around 2050 something. 2055. So 2032 to 2055. So that's another 22 seconds. So, and the spell lasts for 8 seconds, right? So that's like already like 40% uptime, basically. And that's again, I have the major on, but that's again without the major in consideration. I don't think I'll ever use the major again. Like, this was just to test the overall up. The major doesn't even really, like, it's really not good. I don't know why. It should be longer, I feel like. It should have been fucking Bone Storm, man. That's what I said. Vamp Blood was the wrong choice for Vision of Perfection major. It should have procced Bone Storm and reduced the CD of Vamp Blood, just like Bear and Brewmaster have a different proc than their actual thing. But yeah, so like let's talk about like what this might, what small but interesting impacts this might have. So first of all, the Dancing Eternal Darkness or whatever, what's it called? Eternal Rune Weapon. Eternal Rune Weapon. I was thinking of Dance Darkness. Combine the two. Anyway, Eternal Rune Weapon will now have like slightly higher value, right? Presumably, I don't know the names of these things. The proc from, I literally don't know the names of any of these things. The D&D proc, whatever that's called, Crimson Scourge. The Crimson Scourge proc Azerite trait, I mean, that potentially gets higher, right? I don't exactly know how the proc works. Like, seemingly, if it can't proc more than 10 seconds into the CD, does this affect it? Like, that's how I understand it to work. So I really don't know enough about this. But it's an interesting puzzle to solve. So I hope that we will do it together. But yeah, so lots of Amp Bloods. I mean, it's effectively like a 30-second CD. That weak ore is freaking me out. Every time I see it go down to 13 seconds, I'm like, oh my god! But it's not true. It doesn't work that way. I mean, I don't really understand how it works for some reason. It seems there's some variables that I can't seem to account for, but either way, that's what, 5 Amp Bloods potentially used there. So And that was only a 2-minute and 35-second pull. But that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the uptime. I show it for a little bit at the end. And then you guys can draw your own conclusion. We're going to be testing this on stream tomorrow. Frankly, I spent too much on it to not try it. Even if I don't end up using it, we're gonna give it a go. So here we're just looking at Vamp Blood. So there's Vamp Blood. Now, Seismical brought up something that refreshes. I don't know what that actually means. Is that like a problem? That means like we didn't extend the duration fully, right? Something else that I actually saw in the video Zamak made was he said like, and this only counts when you're in combat. So sometimes these spells might like outlast combat. That's probably not true for Vamp Blood, but for Wings, it's definitely true. But yeah, I also use Lucid Dreams for this to see how that helps. Not really a big deal, but I guess it helps. Vamp Blood, 36% uptime, 65 uses. That's the thing, 65 uses over a, how many minutes? 28-minute dungeon. So that might be the thing to think about. So let's talk about that. Let's 28 divided by 68. Is that even, what am I doing? 68 divided by 28. I don't know what I'm even looking at, honestly. That's not right. I'm terrible at math, guys. But yeah, anyway, you could take a look. Jix had some numbers. Maybe I'll throw them in the comment section. But he said that, like, in order to use it this often, the dungeon would have had to be, like, 39 minutes or something like that. So something like that is useful. But there's Ineffable Truth. You can see 23 times it procced. So, like, you'd have to know a lot more about each CD, but presumably 23 times it reduced, 20 some seconds off Vamp Blood, and that's just the one CD, right? So that's a decent amount of times. I feel like 23 procs. 3 of them were overlaps. So I think overlaps might be the best chance. Getting an overlap is like kind of huge because it could literally cut the CD off. Like, it could be like Vamp Blood could be like not up, and then if you get 2 Ineffable Truth procs, it's up, right? In that 20-second window. And then of course, Rune Weapon, we used it 16 times. That's pretty good. So typically that one doesn't have any reduction, right? So 16 times 3, that would typically be a 48-minute dungeon. Is that right? Am I wrong about that? Oh no, it's of course not 3. I'm an idiot. 16 times 2. So it'd be a 32-minute dungeon. So yeah, we cut potentially 4 minutes off the CD. So it's interesting. And of course, we didn't use it perfectly either. Well, that's not, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. And we're going to be testing again tomorrow. So if you want to learn more, any ask questions, I'll try my best. But I do like the concept of it. I think probably what I might do is, dump 1 or 2 of these traits. Like it's 240%. So I'd say like, yeah, probably like above 150% is probably pretty solid. And then we can put maybe some Twilight on, or I might also try, Shexel Vaz with this, because I did get the chest from Vexiona. So I now have 3 Bones of the Dam traits or whatever they're called. So we might give that a try. Shexel Vaz, we'll see how much damage that adds. So I might test that tomorrow as well, or maybe tonight. But anyway, that's that. Let me know what you think. And fun little build. We'll try it out. Obviously, the problem is I have 9 corruption. I mean, that's not good to have that little corruption and still have 9 pieces of gear with corruption on it. So if anything, I should try to get probably 2 rank 2 ones. Then that would really fill it out. But let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.